but this dark, damp smell of Glenrothes. Welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. My name is Lüning, Horst Lüning. I'm the master taster of Whisky.com, and today I have a specialty here on my cask. It's a Glenrothes from the independent bottler Signatory Vintage, and this bottle was created by me. So I visited the Eredau distillery, where Signatory Vintage is at home, in April 2016, when I was invited to Blair Castle, to the Keep of the Quaich. And the day before, we looked through the warehouses and selected 10 casks from Glenrothes, vintage 1997. I tasted those little samples. I think they were a dozen of them. I put a picture of this tasting here. And I looked through all of them, and you have to be careful not to have eaten in front of that, tasting, nosing. And you have to have no cold at all, and very careful about deciding which cask to take and which not. Then I decided to reject 2 casks. One was a little bit too weak, too light, and the other one was too heavy, too strong, and too tannin laden, too bitter. So the rest was left over, and then we tried to mix them two other together, and find out how this marriage will develop and will change the taste of the whiskey, and it was all right. They were not that different between each other because we rejected the extreme ones. And then we diluted it down to 46% to have an idea how the whole mixture would taste. And then, 3 months later, those 10 casks were mixed up together, married for a shorter period of time, and then filled into bottles. And this is one of these bottles. And if you're somewhere around the world and have access to Signatory Vintage, if you see a Glenrothes with the age of 18 years with that color in it, the chances that the whiskey will taste quite the same is high. Because the differences between those 10 casks weren't that big. So the cask came from the same source, they rested for the same time, and only 2 of those casks developed differently. Why? I have no idea. Probably they looked as if they were the same and had a different source. Maybe. Those casks were all refill butts, because I like not the extreme sherry influence in casks or from the casks, and I do not like the extreme tannins from the cask, where the whiskey, the resulting whiskey, will be slightly bitter. So if you have a liquid in it a few months, years before, which take out the extreme sherry and the extreme tannins with the bitterness, then there's enough left for a maturation period of 18 years to add up to a really wonderful whiskey. So the fresher the cask is not always the better. It's the best of both worlds. The best of the long age, the best of the fresh casks. So in these refill sherry casks, that's the right thing for me. But the refill, no, they are too weak. And if you had 10 years before a whiskey in those sherry casks, then the resulting second fill will be, too weak. So probably those casks which were used for a finishing period and then filled for a longer time with whiskey. This is probably, for my personal taste, the best maturation method to choose. the typical dark, earthen graveyard smell. No, sorry about that. Earthen, deep forests smell of Glenrothes, combined with the fruitiness of the sherry. In the back there is some nuts, like walnuts. Probably a hint of coconut. But this dark, damp smell of Glenrothes. So this whiskey is unchill filtered and uncolored. This is quite natural. It's just diluted down to 46%. Oh, full and strong my tongue, mouth-watering, a little peppery in the front, sweetness in my mouth, and no bitterness at all. So it was really good to deselect, to reject this extremely strong and spicy cask, which smelled already a little bitter. So the rest is wonderful, smooth and gentle, with a sharp and impact at first, but in the aftertaste, long and smooth. Whenever you find, as I said in front, you find a Glenrothes from Signatory Vintage with that age, matured in refilled sherry butts, the chances that it smells and tastes like this one is quite high. The differences between those residual 10 casks hadn't been that much. But if the bottle is a lot darker or a lot lighter, then it's the chance that those are the casks I rejected. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned, and there's more to come.